Hello, welcome back to Nance Maggie 046. My name is Maggie and I'm your host. Today we are going to talk about marriage visa or marriage. Yes. So many people ask me about how you can travel through marriage. These are the points and what you can do to achieve your goals. Most times when we ask for the visas, we lie and actually we forget that we are lying, and when we're talking to people we all do not take in what they tell us and we take what we want. So they are the things you should look at before you apply for it, or when you're applying for it. Make sure that you know the names of the partner, the before names, the now names. And why am I saying this? Because in countries where we are, or in most developed countries, a person is allowed to change their names however much they want. So make sure that this pattern you have, maybe they change names, make sure that you know the real names and the before names. It's very important because that means that you have a good contact with your partner. When you're applying for a marriage visa, actually it's you who is in Africa or who wants to travel to a country who has the right to apply. You apply, you get the details from your partner, and you apply, you take it to the embassy. When you take the embassy, make sure that all the information that is filled in is true and correct according to what your partner has told you. If you put in something that your partner has not told you because that's what you want to give them, and he will say something else or she will say something else, that means that one of you is lying. And when it comes to this kind of that you're lying, you suspect to be lying, you're going to be denied a visa direct. So make sure that you apply and put in all the information together, and then you put your application to the embassy. When you do put the application to the embassy, it's the embassy that is going to contact me who is here, who wants my partner to join me, and they ask me that we saw that John wanted to join you, and they would much like to know how you met and everything. So some time back they actually did not ask about that, but now that I don't know what happened, but they send in the papers to me as well, and I have to fill in the same details as you did, almost about you, your children, or you married before, or everything. So make sure that you are on the same page and you live in the same information. That's why you have to be communicating at a daily basis. Yes, so you know that you apply and they send me the confirmation. If I know that you are applying, they tell me that someone in Uganda wants to join you, and follow this link to fill in more information. So this information I'm going to fill in is almost the same as you who's in Uganda that you filled in, but this time it's going to be about me and you as well. How you met. I have my book here and I'm going to be reading this. They're going to ask you how you met. You could be that maybe you met online dating, or you met through friends, or everything. How you met, it's very important always to remember the date, and how and what made you take the first step, and everything that followed in that process. So remember, always make sure that you know everything in details, detail by detail. And they'll ask you how you're living today. Have you ever met in person? If you have never met, they'll ask you why you have never met in person. And they'll ask you, if you met in person, where did you meet, your first date, your second date, your third date. So there is a lot they're going to ask you about the person, and they'll ask you about if you have ever been together before as grown-ups. So you understand. I will not say it because I have something here. So but you know that they ask you that as well. Yes, it's too personal, but they'll ask you that. It's always good to know the background of the person. When you're applying, they are going to ask you the names, parents, siblings, where they live, their work, hobbies, what they hate, the colors they love. They'll ask you how many children, their names, when are they born. If he or she has an ex, they'll ask you the name of the ex and when did they separate. All that you have to have it here, because for them they think that you are in a relationship, so you should so much. Because in Africa we have it that when I'm dating you, I don't want to know about your ex, or whatever happened, I don't want to know. Here's the thing, here, when you are dating and you want to travel and be with this person as your married partner, or you just your cohabiting partner, they'll ask you everything about that. The ex, when they separated, date of birth, I'm sure they'll ask you even the date of birth and the names. So be eager to know all that. One thing about the children: how many children do you have? How old are they? Do you live with them? Why you don't live there with them? Your parents, are they alive? Are they dead? Do you live with them? All those questions they are going to ask you when you apply for a visa. And here's the thing: even when you got the interview, they're actually the same things that you applied in. They're the same thing they are going to ask. Are you living alone? Are you living with the other people? Is it your own apartment? They'll ask you, who's the person who is inviting you. Like when they ask me, who is living here in Sweden, they'll ask me to give in my bank statement or to give in the work that I've been working. We have securities, which is like when you work and in case your job is done, and that kind of a security. Do you have that kind of security? They'll ask you to provide it to them. So make sure that the person you're going to meet, or the person who's going to take you, gives you all the details and which kind of work they are doing, because they'll ask you the schools they attended, the level of education they are at, or where they stopped studying. They'll ask you if it's apartment or a house. There is a different. An apartment is where like hundreds of people are living. If it's a house, it's just a house. The house, more houses that we have in Africa, where you live alone and you build it on your own. So it could be a house or an apartment. And how many people are living in that apartment. So all those questions, you should be ready to know them and answer them as good as much as possible. And you should be precise to questions that are being asked to you. Do not ever answer any question brighter. Like when I ask you, how old are you? I was born in 1979, and then I get 1980 what, and then I get all those questions. They don't want. They ask you, how old are you? Say 20, 15, or 30. That's not what they want. They did not say which year were you born. But sometimes they are going to ask you, they will not ask you how old your partner is. They'll ask you, when was your partner was born? When was she or he born? Then you have to state the year, date, and the day. The three. You can say 1975, January 21st. That's what they want. And their children, though, you can say there is here who is 3 years, or there is who is 10 years, or that's what they want. Sometimes they ask you even the date the children were born. So when you're dating someone, know everything about them and confirm with them. And if you met online, make sure you have the chats. Be open. We met online. Where did you meet? On Facebook? If it was Facebook, be clear. Facebook, because they're going to ask you the first time you talked. So if you lie that you met on Messenger, on Tinder, and when you met on Afro, it's going to be confusing. And the moment they find out that you're confusing them, you ain't getting any visa. And when they say no, it's going to be so hard, unless you're smart here to they say to outline them, to out something, to make sure that you get it. But when they say you're denied and you have to apply, most people are denied. A few smart people like me can write a application, like when you're not happy with the decision, they give you 14 days. A few people will help you, a few people, but it needs someone who knows the system. So be smart and be precise. That's how marriage is, because cohabiting and marriage, it's almost the same thing. And they'll ask you, actually, have you ever been together, like as grown-ups, that I said before? Are you expecting any child? How is your future? How does your future look like? Have children, get married, or are you coming just to be like, I'm beginning to come and work, I just want to work and be near him? And if you're going to work, you have to tell them, why do you have to, can you say, I'm going to work because I have to support my family in Africa, or I'm going to work because I want to develop Sweden and to pay the taxes as a normal person I want to learn the language and everything, and maybe God willing, we can build a future. We can have a family by God's will, because we all know it's about God having children. So you cannot say we shall have kids and that, because you are not sure. It's about the God's will. So that tell you that you need the messages where you chat from. Could it be Facebook? Could it be Messenger? Could it be WhatsApp? Could it be Viber? The phone calls you take every day, or how long you take it, I don't know. Keep it as evidence. Keep it as evidence. And when you're going to the interview, actually they are not going to tell you that bring the evidence that you have been chatting. They could ask you that, but it's rarely they do that. But when you got the interview, mostly people who are inviting, they ask you to give the evidence where you have been chatting from. So make sure you have all the messages from where it started from to where it is today. You could be chatting maybe twice a week or thrice a week or 4 days a week. It is very okay, because they understand that you are working, you are busy, but don't forget that you have to keep the touch, you have to communicate, and you have to show them that you communicate. It's very important, because every relationship is there because people are communicating. Without communication, there is no relationship. So make sure you show that you communicate on a daily basis. I hope this will help you, and I pray for you to get where you want to be. When you're going to travel, when you're given the opportunity, you give these guys or ladies some, come to my country before I come to your country. Remember, it's you who wants to come. Even though he wants you, there could be so many other people who are, you know what I mean. It's you who wants this. But if you tell him, I'm not safe to come into your country, you first come to my country. Remember that these countries, when we come here, we are safer than when they come to our countries. You know that there are so many tourists that have been killed in African countries. So for you to travel from Uganda or from any other country where you are right now to this country, it's more safe than them traveling to African countries. Because here, when you come here, when you land to this country, when you land, the first thing you get is the security number. That security number shows you where you are. It means you're in the system. So no one can kill you. He can never hurt you. He can never. But I want to tell you, be smart. Don't give nobody your passport. Don't, because that we all know it's your right to own your passport. It's your right, even if the things are not working out, you should have your passport. But to people who come here and be like, I want to go there and just work, even though I find the money, I have to work and work and work. I'll tell you one thing: don't focus about work. Focus about your future. How do you want to see your future? Do you want to be educated, or do you just want to be this person who is going to be like, when you're going to meet a doctor, you need someone to translate for you? There are people who have been here for over 30 years, 20 years, 15 years, but when they are going to meet a doctor, or they are going to their lawyers or anything, they need a translator. Oh, because I don't know Swedish, I need some translator. Are you that kind of a person? Then if you're that kind of person, you're just here to work. If you're this kind of a person who'll be like, no, I want to go to Sweden and learn the language, and then I can learn the culture of the Swedish people, then life will be easier for you. Because when you go to school, you learn the language, and later on you get the job, a better job, actually, not even a job. Because remember, here education is free. So you have the opportunity to even study for free. You can be anything. You can be a lawyer. You can be anything you want when you come in these countries. Free education. You either stopped in senior 2, P7, P6, P4. You have a right here to go back and study from zero. So don't focus so much about work. Yes, I know you want to take care of your families in Africa, but just think about your children. What are the examples you're giving to your children? That you're here because you're working. Work less and work smart. That is what educated people do. They work less and smart because they are being paid good. I told you, I was once working 4 jobs, 6 jobs maybe, because I wasn't educated. But honey, ever since I got my education, I can decide. I have my hours. You have your 25 holidays, 25 days every summer to take your holidays off and be paid. But when you are not educated, you work a lot And even the holidays, you never get any holiday because you are not educated. You have no right. That's how it is. You have no right. So make sure you come here and you be with your partner and you study and learn the language. Wherever you go, wherever they are using which kind of a language, there is no language too hard for you if you want to achieve something. There is no language too hard for you. People are like, oh, I don't want to learn the language. I'm too old to learn the language. We did also learn the language. We did. We did. And I'm telling you, I'm the example. I did learn the Swedish language, and right now I'm a nurse in the country where I came when I had just stopped senior six. If I did that, if I could achieve that, you can as well. So think about the marriage and think about what is positive about it. You're coming in, and I love my friends who are here and they are fighting so hard to get it. They know me. My friends don't know me actually. Whenever they ask me, I tell them, study. The language is very important. Study, 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 study. Because when you know the language, you will never need any translator. And guess what? Sometimes the translators are giving the wrong information just because you're a foreigner. You don't know the language. They give you what you want to hear, but it was the question, it was something else they asked. I have been there, but because I knew the language, I was actually, for me it happened even in the court, and I told the judge that's not what I said. Since then I knew that language. Interview, make sure you look good, you look presentable, presentable, you know what I mean, and go to the interview. Be smart here and here. Talk less, listen more. Ask the language you want to be examined. Like they'll ask you which kind of or what language do you understand most that you want the interview to be. I don't know why English is so hard for me. They'll ask you the kind of language you want to use. And please, I know you want to show off that, oh, I know the English best, or I know this the best, or what. Take your mother tongue or mother language, because that's where you will never do any mistake. Take your mother tongue or mother language. We say I'm in Uganda, I will take Uganda. And I go there, tell them I will do Uganda. They'll get a translator for me. But if you take the language you do not understand, you might end up answering the question the wrong way. The wrong way. And there is no way. Good thing that because you know why they ask you the language you understand, because when you make a mistake in Uganda bajja kugamba watugamba okozesa Luganda lwe lulimi lwotegeera. The lulimi we asked you the language you understand best, you chose English, so there is no way you just gamba you misinterpreted me because I used the language I didn't understand. You understood English. They gave you the opportunity. Don't ever be shy. Don't ever shy away from your future. Don't ever shy away from your future. Tell them I don't understand English. I want Luganda, or I want Lunyankore, or I want Lutoro, or I want Lingala. Any language you understand best, that you can answer. Be short and precise. Don't talk what they have not asked you. Most people fail their visas or their interviews because they talk a lot. They forget what they have asked them and they start talking about what they have not asked them. But the moment you start bringing in what they haven't asked you, you're giving them the more questions. The more questions. If they ask you about your ex, tell them we separated in 2014 December. That's it. That's it. Don't start. In 2014 we started having arguments, and then by 2016, they're not asking you why did you separate or how did you separate. They asked you when did you separate. They only want to know how long you have been free from this kind of drama. Only. When you do that, leave a comment here. And your visa, you have your visa, and you're like, go, that girl that's just told me to do this. Do what I tell you. Your visa, you get your visa without even having second chances on the first chance. If you're pregnant, tell them I'm pregnant or if he's the father, the kid, because when you're pregnant, it's easier for you because they always want this child to be born in the presence of their fathers. So Yeah. For watching, my name is Maggie, being your host. Don't forget to subscribe, click on the notification bell, and leave a comment, leave a heart, and share, please, this information to your friends. Next time, I'm going to tell those people who want. We are going to do this. The episode one. Episode one is about marriage visa. Episode two might be about visitors visa. Episode three might be about what is it called? All the kinds of visas that you know. I'll give you the tips and how to deal with it. So thank you for watching. I love you so much from a distance. Take care of yourselves and be smart, and do not drive and do not drink and drive. Life is precious. Love your families, and always remember, tell them how much you love them, because you never know. Life is just a journey. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.